marketing and
finance, and strategic planning.
Yeah. Okay.
In there, you put the human resource. The human resource is the person that God told, go and subdue the earth and prosper. So human resource is supposed to enhance all these things and make sure that we go ahead. We're not supposed to be lazy. We're supposed to be able to take the risk, but at the same time staying integral. And so I would say that what church can do is to use its influence. The people who come in, put aside 30 minutes every week. Put aside 1 hour every week to talk enterprise, to listen. Yes. The church should be able to say, all right, we are going to IGA, we are going to Enterprise Uganda, we're going to someone to come and sit down with us and talk with our young people on a regular, just as we talk to them and say, let's go through Bible study. When we get to a certain point, we say, what does this mean? Is it really that you're supposed to be poor as a church mouse? Or is it that you're supposed to be poor in spirit, but okay physically? Okay. So I think that's what the church can do. Focus on educating our people on the pillars of enterprise, on the importance of integrity, on the focus on God and the human relation. After all, love your God and love your neighbor. And everything else will follow.
Thank you so much, Master Iga. So to summarize everything that he has said, or what I have picked out, you may have picked out something else, like the church can support the youth, the church can support their members by organizing such meetups, like 30-minute meetups, where they are talking about entrepreneurship. They're talking about the pillars that he has mentioned that will help us to be entrepreneurs. And you know what? We shall build businesses from church, and the church will grow. So church leaders, church members, pastors, please, you need to support the youth. Thank you. So we go to another question. What are some successful examples? Because there are some churches that have tried to do this. For example, our church, Watoto, they have those community development projects whereby they source out different ladies that are vulnerable, teach them, give them the skills, and then give them the startup kits to start their business, like the tailoring, the hairdressing, and all that thing. And it has been successful. These guys have gotten money to be able to support their children at school and all that. Then also the Catholic Church of Lila, they have a agricultural training center kind of, and all those are entrepreneurial activities. But we want to look at the models that you know about, where churches have successfully participated in entrepreneurship and it is successful, and what are the key factors that these people have put in besides the pillars that you have mentioned?
Okay, thank you. I think that, first of all, the church has been here and is here to stay.
To stay forever.
One of the most important things in entrepreneurship is endurance. World Bank, IMF, different researchers have said that Uganda is very entrepreneurial, but that most of our businesses die before they make their third year. The church is not about to die. It's going to be here for a while.
Wow, that is a key point. The church is not about to die.
No. And the church will go on with the influence we've acknowledged. Given that, probably we should look back and say, what have we preached in the last 100 years? How have we interpreted the Bible in the last 100 years? How should we interpret the Bible in the next 50 years?
Okay.
If we look at it that way, and we go and look in the Bible, you see, whether you believe in the Bible or not, as a matter of faith, you can't deny that the Bible is full of all knowledge. And so if you go into the Bible and you look at the necessary scriptures, you'll find that entrepreneurship is supposed to be right there at the front. Let me just mention, when you take it into politics, I think one of the most admired leaders of the last century is Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher
from
England.
England.
Yeah.
Okay.
Margaret Thatcher, globally known, referred to as the Iron Lady, for work straightening out the British economy at the time,
Okay.
is quoted to have said, "No one would have remembered the Good Samaritan if he had only had good intentions. He had money too." And this is true. The Good Samaritan picked up this man, took him to the nearest inn, and said, "Take care of him. I'll settle the bills
The
when I
bills,
come."
yes. He didn't care about the monies.
He wasn't worried about the money. No one would have remembered the Good Samaritan if he had only had good intentions. He had money too. You can take that back into the Bible. You can take it into any church. Now, when you look at the church not being about to die, we shouldn't worry about the fact that today we may not be okay. I keep telling my children, if you're not okay today, it's okay. If you're not okay 10 years from today, it's not okay. Meaning we decide and start implementing now.
Now.
Take the risks now. And so I come back to your church. You said you go to Watoto? Why save?
Yes, we have voice.
You know about why save. What shall I say? I mentioned the pillars. One of them is finances and financial management. If the church deliberately, like Watoto decided, to build a financial pool 20 years, 15 years, maybe 10, maybe 5 from today, Watoto could actually establish a proper bank. A bank that serves its congregation, but also serves other Christians as well.
Okay.
YSEV, in my view, from what I know from the outside, is quite a success.
Yeah, it is.
Now, apart from finances, as in outright money and financial management, the other key factor in production, which is such a big thing in Uganda today, is land.
Land, like real estate?
Yes, real estate, land. Be it for housing purposes, our company is in purposes of development for accommodation,
Okay.
but be it for agriculture, be it for warehouses, land. The church, correct me if I'm wrong, has stepped in there, and we are taking out so many acres.
And most of the churches have acres and acres.
So if we take out acres and acres, instead of letting the land lie idle, what if we said, you know what Buganda Land Board does? It issues leases.
Yeah.
Leases, so the church could decide.
So the land is being used.
Yes, the church could decide. The church is not about to die. We are giving 49-year leases. And each year, just know that the lease will be this much, maybe going up by a certain percentage every year. That way, the people who come to church do not necessarily have to put up so much money in order to make sure that they get a piece of land which they can utilize. And I know that churches have been successful in holding land. Now, another example, you must know about Pastor Moses Mukisa.
Yes.
He's an engineer.
Pastor Moses.
But he's one of the most outstanding. Have you read Wealth Files? Wealth Files is written by Moses. He's written a couple of other books.
Yes, I read another one.
But Moses is talking about we as Christians, and he's not just talking about it. He's enabling the congregation to go into that, into wealth creation, into owning assets that result in money. Now, let me say something else. For the last few years, I have observed that virtually every church you go to is saying, there's this basket for this. There is this basket for this. There is this basket for this. There is this basket for this.
So many baskets.
So many baskets. And the Christian gets out of that particular church service and they're feeling, oh, next time I have to come with change.
Okay.
Because they put their 1 note or 2 notes into this basket, and before the end of service, there is another basket and yet another basket. It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
It is possible through programs like YSEF, through arrangements in terms of land. Who said it's wrong for church members to go into real estate business and running it with integrity. So as the church, you mobilize and put 1 billion shillings together.
Yeah.
And you appoint leaders who go to Kasanje and buy 10 acres.
Yes.
And they go out to Katosi and buy 10 acres and subdivide it and offer the church members first opportunity to buy.
Yeah.
But if church members won't buy, other people can come in and buy along these standards. And so I've mentioned a couple of them that the church is already doing, and I've mentioned a couple of things that
They
the
should
church
do.
could do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is a very good, like the one of the acres, it's a very good idea. If there is a church there or a church leader or a church member who can pick a leaf, that would be so good. Because like, churches have bought a lot of land, but it's owned by the church. Like they don't give it back to the community to use it.
Yeah.
If we can pick a leaf from there. Okay. Then do you know any entrepreneur models in the Bible? I know of Lydia. She was in hospitality, and she used her home to give hospitality on a shilling, and she made money out of that, and she was so prominent because of that. Then also Joseph, I think also Joseph was in which business, but there are so many entrepreneurial people in the Bible. Do you know anyone who stands out for you?
I think I'm going to have to take an education from you on this, because I was thinking about Joseph.
Okay.
And yet at the same time, it may not be a very good example, but my brother and I talk about this quite a bit. Do you remember the man who went to marry Rachel?
Jacob.
Oh, and what happened?
He had to work for 7 years.
Yes, he goes to marry Rachel, and Rachel's father says, "You go to work," and he works.
Yeah, for 7 years, and he worked again.
Guess what? The wife he got wasn't Rachel. And what did the man say? 7 years to get the girl you want. Now, we talk about this a lot because I ask myself, why did that have to happen? It's like, how could, was he Levi? What was his name? Rachel's father. Why did he play him, if I may put it that way?
Yeah.
It's not the most like upright thing to do, but guess what? This man was in raising livestock. He needed good committed hands to raise his animals. And who better than the person who is determined? So if you look at it, look at what you have. Utilize it. If it had stopped at Rachel, I would have been very, very happy. So when you bring it back home, to me, you've had people say it is wrong for girls, for people to pay dowry.
I hear, but I disagree.
Well, I don't know whether to say I'm happy you disagree, but when you take it in different communities, when you take it back to the Bible, it wasn't like you're buying the person.
You are not.
It becomes a very good model to ensure that the person that you have accepted starts off at a certain footing, or the person that has accepted you starts off a certain footing. I've got friends from Western Uganda. Last week, but one, somebody gave me a heifer and gave my sister a heifer. And we know that when our animals produce, we will give back a heifer.
To that person.
Maybe 2 years later, maybe 2.5 years later. But guess what that does? As a model, it distributes and exchanges wealth. When you take it back to the Bible, it may be that you go to work and you go to deliver such and such to get a wife, but there are communities also in real life where it's the wife who brings. My point is this. Sometimes a person may not have a lot, but they're acceptable because of their integrity, because of their faith in God, because of their discipline.
They're honest.
If they are banaku in terms of money, you've still accepted them. So what do? You make arrangements to see that they start off a certain way. If you want to marry into my family, and I say, you know what, you got to bring 4 heifers. Don't feel so bad about it. You asked about models, but I may not give particular individual examples, but I look at the whole sphere and look at it that there are arrangements for exchanges to happen, for wealth to be distributed, for wealth to be enhanced. When a person gives you livestock to look after, you are going to be particular in looking after that animal.
You're accountable. You pay attention.
Exactly.
Yes.
You pay attention, you are accountable, you want it to grow, you want to show it off. You want to say 2-3 years later, look, they gave me these 2 animals, they have become 6.
Yes.
Before you know it, we are all enhancing each other.
Yes,
But
that's
yes,
true.
Joseph is a good example. I look at the man with his animals making Rachel's husband look after them.
Jacob.
It is a question of applying ourselves and getting
that's
there.
true. Yeah.
And when you look at, I talked about the Proverbs 31 woman, we are talking about the qualities that are not, they're not evil qualities. They are good qualities that cause us to have a good life and at the same time stay focused on serving.
Can you imagine, even Jesus himself, he was an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Because he did the kubaija with the father.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Even Noah was an entrepreneur. Paul was a very educated person, but he was an entrepreneur, like Ngakola tents.
Yeah.
He made the tents. Yeah. So we have so many people.
But Diana, if I may also mention, we talked earlier about innovation. There is invention. As I said, give me an education. But do you realize that Jesus was an inventor? I mean, he knows people here need wine.
Yeah. Yeah, talk about
What
that.
better enterprise entrepreneur than that? We said entrepreneurship is observing a need and finding
then
a
you
solution.
find a solution.
Jesus looks at it and says, you know what? Put water into those pots. But it's only water. Yes, put it in there. Before you know it, he's an inventor. iPhone in the hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And as we conclude, what role does faith play in driving innovation?
First of all, there is faith, as in belief in what you do. And then there is Christian faith. If you decide to be a Christian, because it's a decision you make, if you decide to be a Christian, you believe, you follow certain standards. That Christian faith helps you a lot, you as the human. I talked about the personal entrepreneurship competencies. You believe, you will persevere, you will wake up tomorrow, you believe you'll be healthy, you look after yourself, you'll be healthy. So there is the question of you holding up as, in fact, as a Christian, as a good Christian, you should not lament. It should be that whatever is thrown at you, persistence is one of those things, endurance is one of those things. So there's that. Then there's that of believing that if I put in 5 shillings and the calculation shows that I could make as much as 5 at best, but at worst case scenario, I might lose it all. And then you say, for that matter, let me hope that I'll make 2.5 over the 5 that I've done. In other words, 50% profit. There is that faith. Those two put together allow you to take risk without necessarily feeling too worried. There's the question of saying, oh, but I can never borrow. I can't borrow because what if the money fails? It means
fear.
It means that your fear is overtaking your faith. But if you got the faith, you can say, you know what, I shouldn't make it like the main thing to borrow. But that if I need to take a bit of money, this one talent, I will not bury it in the ground. I will go and multiply it by trading in sheep or by taking this seed. You know, the very fact of planting, it means that you put the seed in the soil. You know the seed has to rot in order for the new plants to come.
To grow, yeah.
But you can say, man, the rain might not come. Let me end on this. One of my sons is called Chitwala. It's a Luganda proverb which says, Chitwala omwaka ewala kuba kubula. Meaning,
wow, I didn't know.
If the rain does not come, the season will delay. But should the rain come, be prepared to plant immediately. Plant promptly. It's like a reverse call. Don't be unprepared. Be prepared to put your seed in the soil when the rain comes. Don't let the season leave you behind because you are not prepared. So you've got to have the faith that the rain will come in April.
Okay.
In March, again, forgive me, but let me combine this with our traditional wisdom.
Okay.
In Luganda, March is called Mugulansigo.
Gulansigo.
That's when we are busy buying and planting seed because the first rains have come. So faith calls upon us to observe, to believe what the Almighty has promised us. It calls upon us to take that belief and dare to risk and plant.
Okay.
And if we plant and we persist and we water and we tend, we will be all right.
All right. Thank you. We've learned, we've conversed. Yeah. So we are coming to the end of our conversation today. But the key point is you having your faith will help you to endure, will help you to take risks, will help you to persevere.
Yeah.
And you will connect to God and you will, so that when you take, for example, a loan to put into your enterprise, you will not fear because you believe, you know what, it's gonna work. It's gonna work out. So, as we are concluding, we want to give advice to entrepreneurs who want to integrate faith with business.
I would say, when I set out to leave employment and start a business, one of my mentors said to me, "Are you leaving the 8 to 5 to join the 5 to 8?"
Okay.
Meaning, where I was employed, I was expected to report at 8 and leave at 5. When you start your own business, you got to be up at 5 and be ready to leave at 8. So leave the 8 to 5 and go into the 5 to 8.
Okay.
You got to put in the hard work.
Yeah.
At the same time,
yeah.
we got to be like the birds, indeed, that 5 to 8. The birds will be looked after by the Almighty, but they get up at 5 and sing to the Almighty.
Okay.
You get it? At the same time, we've got to think about that woman in the Bible who looks and searches and buys and sells and prepares and sees things happening. We've got to keep the faith. We've got to keep personal relation. Just imagine that woman becoming, you can look up the chapter 21 woman on the other hand, Proverbs 21 woman. Different from
31.
Proverbs 31 woman. So look at 21, look at 31 and compare. So if we take what the Bible calls upon us on the personal and relate it to the next person without losing sight of God, we will be able to do what is necessary in order to thrive. That's what I think.
Man, thank you. Okay, for me, I'm saying that to be an entrepreneur, you don't sometimes need the big enterprises. You can start as small as selling cassava on the streets. You can start as small as selling that maize that you are selling, but do something, and let it be from your passion. Like your passion, add it to God's, the vertical relationship, and then the principles that He mentioned, and then you will start something, and before you know it, it will boom, it will work out. Yeah. Thank you. This was City E Uganda. Bye.